Hi, I'm Erik the Travel Guy. Today, we're exploring this country's fourth largest city. We'll get up close and personal with tons of rushing water, and we're headed out to the Pacific Northwest to learn how to shuck an oyster. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the in-flight entertainment, and it is, you guessed it, Vacation Tuesday. The school year is underway, and at least for this year, it may feel a little different for some of you. And yeah, I get it, my girls are adjusting too. But no matter what time of year it is, I am always ready to take a vacation because I always learn something new. Plus, I love to meet new people. Did you know here in the United States we've got a National Park Service? Well, it's true. The federal agency is responsible for preserving our national parks. Now, they employ tens of thousands of people and oversee more than 200,000 volunteers. That's because there are 419 national park sites, and 62 of those are national parks. The most visited national park in the United States? The Great Smoky Mountains in the Mid-Atlantic, followed by the Grand Canyon out west. Now, can you think of any national parks you visited? If so, which ones? You know, I've got a few of my favorites too. I can think of them, but we don't have time to get into that. Now, while we're on the subject of awesomeness, have a look at a very special place in North America.
This is power, energy, force. Along the U.S.-Canadian border is one of the most unique destinations in North America, the incomparable Niagara Falls. It's the oldest state park in the United States, and it's where you'll see nature and gravity take its course, with millions of visitors each year getting wet and looking on in astonishment. Comprised of 3 waterfalls, the American, Bridal Veil, and Horseshoe Falls, Niagara Falls State Park stretches more than 400 acres, with close to 140 of those acres submerged underwater. The beauty of the falls is enough to move anyone, and the power of the falls is enough to move anything. 4 of the 5 Great Lakes, Superior, Michigan, Huron, and Erie, drain into the Niagara River before emptying into Lake Ontario in a breathtaking, orchestrated symphony of epic natural proportions. The water's velocity is 32 feet per second, hitting the base of the mighty Horseshoe Falls with an astounding 2,500 tons of force. See why people from around the world come to this part of the country to stand in awe at the cascading thunder that is Niagara Falls.
So essentially, you've got 3 waterfalls that make up Niagara Falls: the American Falls, the Bridal Veil Falls, and the Horseshoe Falls. I've been numerous times over the years, and I've loved every visit because taking a short boat tour on the Maid of the Mist is also an excellent way to get really close to the falling water. The other cool thing is you don't need a passport to visit Niagara Falls. The falls straddle the American and Canadian border, and you can see and do plenty without ever crossing the border. Now, if you do, you could journey on to visit Canada's capital of Ottawa, or Montreal, Toronto, or one of my favorite spots, Quebec City. Canada, as you know, is part of the North American continent. Now back to our map, because we're moving on, folks, from the Canadian border in the north to the Mexican border in the south. We're making our way to Texas. They call it the Lone Star State, and it is big, my friends, the 2nd largest state by area in the United States. The capital of Texas, you ask? Well, that would be Austin, but today we're headed to Houston. Do you know the first words that were uttered from the moon? I'll give you a hint. I'm Erik the Travel Guy, and this is Houston, Texas. This Texas-sized American city lives up to the numbers. It's the 4th largest city in the United States with more than 2.2 million residents. That means you'll find eclectic neighborhoods, museums, quirky attractions, longhorns, of course, fantastic food, and a vibe that's Southern hospitality meets urban chic life. So what do you know about Houston? My guess is maybe not that much, but that's why I'm here.
I can't think of a better way to start the day than with a little culture. If time is limited, start at the Houston Museum District. Located just southwest of downtown in the pedestrian-friendly Museum District, more than 8.7 million visitors explore the 19 cultural institutions that make up the tree-lined, culture-filled neighborhood each year. The district is the proud home of the nation's 6th largest art museum, offering guests 300,000 square feet of space dedicated to paintings, sculptures, costumes, photography, and textiles dating back to the antiquities.
Now when I think Texas, I think meat, steak specifically, and you've got plenty of options here in Houston. Think Papa's Brothers, Vic and Anthony's, B&B Butchers, Tex-Mex is also really big here. But I decided to go to one of the places, that's where the locals go. Well, this is Korea House. It's in Koreatown, and you will find the best Korean barbecue in the state. Did I get it right?
Here, here.
Yeah, here.
It's true, one of my favorite ways to learn about the culture of a destination is through its food, and Houston won't disappoint. So come in for lunch or dinner and give your taste buds something to write home about. Did you know the average temperature here in Houston is a mild 70 degrees? Now it does get a little hot and a little humid in the summer, so I suggest a spring visit where you can get out and enjoy the arid weather. We're at Memorial Park, conveniently situated right downtown. More than 1,400 acres of trails, bike trails, and places to just relax. Golf is also an option here. So if you have the time, take a lesson or play at one of the more than 100 golf courses, 7 of which are open to the public.
Erik the Travel Guy trivia time, and this one's a good one. A lot of people believe that the first word spoken from the surface of the moon was the word Houston. That's not true. The first word spoken back in 1969 was the word contact. This is as astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin performed a series of checklists as they did their landing on the surface of the moon. This is just one of the many facts you will learn here at Space Center Houston. Want to go inside? Yeah, let's go.
This place is simply amazing. Inside, you'll discover more than 400 space artifacts, including flown spacecraft, the largest collection of moon rocks on public display, and at least 3 major exhibits each year. My favorite, Independence Plaza, presented by Boeing. It's the only shuttle replica mounted on a shuttle carrier aircraft, and the only place where you can go inside both vehicles. The 8-story multiple exhibit complex gives a rare glimpse into the historic shuttle era and the NASA breakthroughs and technological advances gained from the space shuttle program, which impacted future exploration.
Oh, before I forget, this is a non-profit organization, not funded by the government, which means the price of your admission goes to, well, presenting all of this. So, get yourself a map and a guide for the day. What will I be seeing? Can you cover all of this Texas-sized city in one day or even one video? Of course not. That's why you need to plan at least a 4-day trip to this unbelievable Texas town. In Houston, I'm Erik the Travel Guy. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, don't forget to join us every Tuesday right after the program, or again at 1:30 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday for a little live Q&A about this week's show. I will be there to answer your questions about the program or any other travel questions you may have right here on the homepage of vacationtuesday.com.
Welcome to Tokyo. It's big, fun, and full of a lot to see and do. Tokyo is the capital of Japan, which is an island nation on the east coast of Asia and part of the continent of Asia. The Tokyo metropolis has a population of more than 37 million people. 13 million live within the city limits. This Japanese city is the core of the most populated urban area in the world. This huge, wealthy, and fascinating metropolis has something for everyone, be it high-tech visions of the future, or nostalgic glimpses of old Japan. By air from Los Angeles, it takes about 11.5 hours to get to the city's biggest airport. Tokyo is situated in a humid subtropical climate zone and has 4 distinct seasons. Summers are usually hot and humid with a temperature range of about 68 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Winters are usually mild and snow is rare. The world-famous cherry blossoms tend to bloom in March or April. Try the food, learn how to prepare sushi, explore the city center or Old Tokyo, or just a short train ride away, you can marvel at beautiful views of Mount Fuji. More than 500 years old, the city of Tokyo has come a long way from its modest beginnings as a fishing village, and today, its locals will welcome you with open arms. Welcome to Tokyo.
Thank you for watching Vacation Tuesday. And anybody tell me what that is? Of course, it's an oyster. That's right. An oyster is actually the common name of a number of different families of saltwater bivalve mollusks that live in marine or brackish habitats. Some types of oysters are commonly consumed cooked or raw. Ooh. And in some locales, they're regarded as a delicacy. Now, recently I traveled all the way across the country to learn how to get these little suckers open and eat them raw. Look queasy.
So Hama Hama is my family's oyster farm, and we're a 5th generation farm. We've been in oysters for 3 generations. My grandpa started the oyster farm. So we have farm sites up here because the water stays really cold all summer. We are geographically blessed. The Olympic Peninsula has some of the cleanest water in the world. Like shellfish farming in general is an amazing way to produce protein. We don't have to feed them. The water comes in, water goes out. They eat what's there naturally. It doesn't consume fresh water. There's no chemical involved.
Right.
And so in terms of like passive ways of growing an animal to feed the world, like shellfish farming is just really incredible.
All right, I have a question. What is an oyster?
So an oyster is a funny little critter because it's neither completely an ocean animal or completely a land animal. It's technically a molluscan bivalve. They have 2 shells. They're filter feeders.
What we see on menus all the time, we see different types of oysters.
Sure.
Why are there different varieties?
Because they're sedentary, they're really reflective of where they're grown. Different bodies of water, different salinities, different temperatures, different kinds of algae.
And that has everything to do with it.
Yes. These little critters saw us coming a couple 100 million years ago and have some good, strong defenses against human predation. But we have some tricks up our
I
sleeve.
didn't see that coming.
If you don't have a knife to do this, you can always shuck an oyster by just cooking it, by heating it.
You can?
Yeah, and then the oyster is alive right now. So it's holding the shell shut, and that's why they're hard to shuck. If you do it right, the oyster might not even know anything's happened to it. We've got a rounded end and a hinge, a pointy end, and then a cup side here. And so if you're holding the oyster with the cup side down and the hinge towards you, the muscle that the oyster is using to hold these 2 shells together is on the right side of the oyster. You have to get the knife in the oyster, and then you have to cut the oyster free of its shell. So the first step, you're just gonna stick the knife into this hinge far enough so that the oyster is stuck on that knife.
Not doing, oh, I see. Oh, hey.
So, okay.
Now this is why we wear the gloves. Now I didn't hit my hand.
So that oyster knows it's being shucked.
I see, I'm sure it does.
My oyster might not know. So I'm gonna just slide the knife on the inside of the oyster, just kind of scraping it off that top shell. And then you just kind of sever it right there.
That's amazing.
Yeah? Hold the rounded end up to your bottom lip, but then chewing it.
No, we don't want to do that.
No, you should do it.
Okay, that's where I get a little...
Okay.
Oh, wow.
They're so good.
That's amazing. Now listen, don't knock it until you've tried it. For those of you that have, you know, they are kind of good, although kind of slimy. All right, that's it for this week. Remember to take the quiz about the episode you just watched, and join us for the live Q&A coming up in just a few minutes or later on today at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for learning, and thank you for watching.